Hey everybody, Brian Brooks here from the Idaho Wildlife Federation. Welcome back to the weekly legislative recap where I talk about everything that moved through the legislature in the past week. That's to do with fish, wildlife, hunting, fishing, public lands, and access. And I try to talk about it so fast so that you can get to enjoying your weekend. We're several weeks into the 24 legislative session. Bills are flying off the shelves. So I'm going to get right into it. But we have 5 bills that we're tracking right now, 3 of which are really good and we've already talked about. So I'm going to be super quick with those. And then 2 of them we do not like that I'm going to spend a little bit more time on. First of those 3 good bills, we have House Bill 404, the Wildlife Data Exemption Bill that keeps real-time location data out of the hands of the general public through public records requests. Obviously, there's fair chase implications there of folks getting their hands on that data and anti-hunter implications with that data as well. That is by Representative James Petsky. That went through the House floor and is on its way to a Senate committee. Next up, Senate Bill 1231. This is the bill that says you got to pay your fines before you can buy your license, tags, or permit for the next year. People who are poaching or have other wildlife crimes, they're not paying their fines, they're still able to buy their licenses. This bill closes that loophole. That's a good bill. That is past the Senate floor, is on its way to a House committee this week. Senate Bill 1258, this is the access bill that says if counties want to abandon an access point that provides access to a body of water, state or federal land parcel, that they either have to prove alternative access is granted by some other means or they have to build new access. If they can't prove that access exists or build a new access point, then they are not allowed to vacate or abandon that access point. That's a good bill. That was a previous bill. It was added, some clarifying legal language was added. Folks are good with it now. That passed out of committee, is on its way to the Senate floor. Lastly, we have the 2 bills that we do not support. First up, we have House Bill 484. This is from Representative Kingsley, and this would mandate that fishing games set seasons on elk, both deer species and moose, every year. There's not really any problem with that. It takes a lot of resources to set seasons, but the problem is here, of course, it's a process thing. Legislators getting in the middle of scientists' work and thinking they know better and how things should run that way. But the problem with this bill is that it would mandate the season setting process start before the previous year's seasons are done. So we won't even have the harvest data from the previous year's seasons when this bill wants Fish and Game to start the season setting process. So it's not a good bill regardless, and we are not going to be supporting it. And the bill's sponsor is really trying to fix a problem that doesn't quite exist with his fix of this bill that might not even be getting at what he wants. So it's not a great bill, and we won't be supporting it. House Bill 469, this is from Representative Mendive, chairman of the House Resources Committee. This would mandate Sobits 209 primers and pelletized powder on muzzleloader seasons. It would make it so Fish and Game cannot regulate those at all. And the problem with that is that all 3 of those things used together turn what was used to be a primitive 90-yard range weapon into essentially a really high-powered, efficient quasi-rifle. We set muzzleloader seasons aside because it's hard to hunt with them, and we gave them a later season because it's a little bit easier to harvest animals in that time. And now that this bill would turn basically that primitive season into a pretty efficient weapon. The only biological response that will be left to Fish and Game is to shorten the seasons or to reduce tags, both of which sportsmen really do not support. We're not going to be supporting that bill. And over all of that, it's just really not appropriate for politicians to be meddling in the minutia of season setting. We want to abide by the North American model of wildlife conservation, let our commissions, let our agency and our scientist staff set those with input of sportsmen, not setting seasons by the whims of politicians. So we will not be supporting House Bill 469. If you want to take action on any of these bills, be sure to follow Idaho Wildlife Federation. We'll let you know when it's appropriate and when bills are up for debate in committee. Other than that, thank you for staying engaged and have a good weekend. Take care.